All right, everybody, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Booze and Hacking. I am your host, Dark Hoodie, and we're back with another TryHackMe room. This one is called Chill Hack, and it doesn't say much to us up here. Let's scroll down a little bit. As you see, I've got my IP address running. The room has begun, and you do see here the room is 50% done because I did start this, but then I got sidetracked and had to do something else. So I didn't finish, but I did get the first flag, and all we are told here is that we need to chill the hack out of the machine, and there is a user and root flag. So before we start, let's talk about what we're drinking. I'm having a mixed drink today. It is called a Brave Bull. It is 2 ounces of tequila and 1 ounce of Kahlua over ice. And if you know what those two tastes are like, it's a strange strange mix for me. But I have to tell you, it was absolutely delightful. There's something about the Kahlua that seems to almost mellow out the tequila in a way. So I would recommend this, maybe for the autumn, who knows. Drink it whenever you like. But if you're in the mood for a drink, by all means, pour yourself something and let's get into the room. So, as I normally do, I started my Nmap scan. Let's take a look and see what ports are open. There are quite a few. 21, 22, 80. So port 21 is running FTP. And bad OPSEC here. It's allowing for anonymous FTP. You should never do that, even if you are using FTP as a business. If you are not using FTP, by all means, this port should never be open. And right away I can tell there is a file on the FTP server called note.txt. Port 22 is open. It's running OpenSSH over a Ubuntu server. Port 80 is open, and it's also running an Apache server over port 80. All right. So let's take a look at this IP address. So it's 10.10.100.247. And we have this rubber bouncing ball here. Going to look at the source code. Oh, look at this. It's some sort of gaming page, game info. Not sure what this is about. You have to register. We see a guy here getting ready to run some track. Let's take a look at the source code, see what's going on. Here are some links to some social media sites. This is the end of the button section. Here is that phrase we saw at the bottom. So far, nothing. Here's a link to Google. And nothing. Didn't give us a thing. So in the midst of that, I went ahead and decided that I should run a GoBuster scan as well to see if this site has any subdomains we should look at. And images, CSS, JS fonts, all that looks normal to me. But there is one here that looks unusual. It's called secret, so that's a giveaway right there. So I'm going to add that to our URL and see what it gives me. Look at this. We have a screen here that looks like it's waiting for a command. So this automatically tells me that we need to test for input sanitization. And I am going to try to do some command injections to see what happens. But actually, before I even do that, since I got a tip-off about the FTP, I'm going to try that first and see what this note.txt is. So, FTP 10.10.100. I think it was 247. And did I not use the right thing? Log, there you go. I forgot to type in anonymous. And we're in on the FTP site. Let's have a look around. There is that note.txt. Let's see if we can cat that. Nope. Wrong command. I need to remember my syntax. Wonder if I can use head. Okay. I just saved it down to my machine. So I'm going to open up another terminal. Did it save? There's note.txt right there. So this little note here. Anurod told me that there is some filtering on strings being put in the command from APAR. So we know that there are two usernames here now, possible usernames, Anurod and APAR. So that's what that note says to us. All right? We'll keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to that code injection. And let's see, since we know that they're Ubuntu servers, we know that they're running Linux. I'm going to try who am I? Oh, look at that. All right, so right away we know that the input needs to be sanitized because this is allowing me to run a command. So I see I'm in the www-data. Look at that. Am I a hacker? I don't know. I mean, I hope I am. At least the ethical kind, anyway. So that's okay. I don't think the word hacker is derogatory. In fact, real hackers are not criminals. Real hackers are ethical and only seek to gain knowledge. Anybody who commits cybercrime and uses hacking as a method to do so is not a hacker. They're criminals. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to change my input around, add a semicolon to this, and look at that. Using the semicolon allowed me to bypass this, and now I can see the directories. A lot of the root stuff here, and this happy little guy with his cup of coffee. And so, okay, so what does this tell me? If I add a reverse shell into this field, it might actually let me gain access. So what I'm going to do first is add a listener. Okay. So now let's see what I can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do who am I, and I know that if by adding that semicolon it separates the commands, which is good. And so now I'm going to use this PHP command that I have written down on my cheat sheet. And before I finish, I always forget what my IP is. ten 10.13.6.1.12. Ten dot 13.6.1.12. My port that I'm listening on, exec, bin / sh space -I. I don't have this memorized, folks. I do have a cheat sheets that I work from. There's no crime in allowing yourself a place to store information. All right, and here I go. All right, I got my reverse shell. Okay, let's stabilize it, shall we? That I have on my other reverse. I don't need the drink anymore. And let's stabilize it. Okay. All right. So we're in now. We've got it stabilized. Let's look around. There's images and index.php. Okay. Well, now that we're in, let's poke around. And you know what? I am going to look to see what the permissions are. So, according to this, user www-data can run the following commands on Ubuntu. So there's a script called .helpline.sh. All right? So we need to find that. All right, it's not here, but we are in the secret directory. So I'm going to move to, because it says here It's in home APAR. All right, and as you see here, there is local.txt. See if we can cat that. We're getting permission denied. All right, let's wait and see if that helpline.sh gives us a hand. Let's see if we can look at that. Strangely enough, we can. Welcome to the help desk. Feel free to talk to anyone at any time. Enter the person whom you want to talk with. Hello user, I am string person. Please enter your message. And then this thing message is dumping. After string message, it dumps everything into the black hole known as devnull. Thank you for your precious time. Okay, well, I'm going to see, it says here that according to this, we can use helpline to gain privileges without a password. So I'm going to switch user to APAR, our buddy APAR. And I'm using sudo because apparently that's the way to do it because we have the permissions according to this file. So /helpline.sh. It's the name of the person you want to talk with. So in this case, the person I want to talk with is bin bash. Because bin bash will give us our permissions. Hello ZRM, bin bash, please enter your message. So now, well, I've already stabilized my shell. I had the worst time with another room recently where I had to keep restabilizing my shell all the time. But I'm going to do it again. Alright, so it looks like I'm in APAR now. Actually, I'm not. I'm still in www-data. I'm going to try this again. See if it gives me what I need. That should have gotten me in. Let's see. Okay, that responded. Please enter your message. bin/bash. This might be where I screwed up. I mistook that first line of who do you want to talk to instead of putting the entire bin bash and then the Python code in the next field. I'm going to type this out manually. There we go. Now I'm in. Just to be sure. Yep, I am now APAR. And there's local.txt. I should be able to do this now because I have full permission as APAR. And there it is. And as I mentioned before, I had gotten this flag earlier. So now we know that there's another user here, Anurod. We remember our buddy Anurod. Need to figure out how I'm going to switch to him. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to look at something here. You know what? I'm going to run a GoBuster scan against secret. Let's try this one here. Alright, there's nothing there. That was fruitless. Let's see. I wonder what's in images. I gotta think for a minute. Let's go back to the top for a second. Maybe I missed something. There is images here. That was when I was in www-data. Anurod, I think is how he spell his name. I don't have the password. Okay. Need to think. Where am I going to go from here? I got what I needed from APAR. Now I need to get into a new road. I need to find out where his stuff might be. Wonder if I go back to index dot. What's in images? I'm a little lost on where to get to here. Alright, I'm going to pause for a minute and I'll be back. You guys don't need to sit here and watch my brain turn to smoke. So hang out for a bit, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I did a little digging around and I came to find that in instances like this, where I need to figure out what else is vulnerable on the machine, I did some digging and I looked around and I found linpeas.sh, which I already had on my machine, surprisingly enough, and never got to use. So now I need to make it executable, which I thought I just did, but let's try again. Oh wait, it is executable. I'm not even paying attention. Alright, and here is linpeas, and this is what this basically this is a privilege escalation program, very popular from what I understand. I don't get to use it as much, so I'm pretty excited to give this a shot. So here we have the usual warning. It's only for pen testing. And here it's giving us a bunch of data. And I'm going to wait for this to finish. So we're going to poke around here, see what it gives us. Oh, this is interesting. There seems to be a MySQL here. It didn't give that to us before. Oh, there's an RSA key for our pal APAR. We can keep that in mind. Any other keys here? I don't see a new road yet. Files with interesting permissions. All right. Oh, interesting writable files owned by me or writable by everyone, not in home. Okay. Book.hattricks.xyz is also a good site to play around with. Let's see what else is here. All right, I better scroll back to the top. I'm pretty sure I missed something. Oh, who's Auric? I haven't seen that before. There's APAR. I still don't see a new road. This MySQL, this could be interesting. All right. Let's see where we could go with this. Now I was poking around before because this is the first directory that we get to. And when we first get into the site, it goes right to the HTML directory. But I noticed I backed out one, and I see this called Files. So I'm going to CD into Files and see what's there. And then I look in here, and I see some interesting things. For example, this hacker.php, account.pht, images, index.pht, PHP, excuse me. I'm going to cat index.php for a second, just to see what I see in here. And right away, one of the interesting things we see is right inside here, which is also bad OPSEC, is there is, in regard to MySQL, what looks like a username and a password. Also, whatever this hacker PHP is. So there's an image here. Hacker with a laptop and a number. And look at this. You have reached this far. Look in the dark and you will find your answer. So that's kind of a clue. But now that I know that there are creds from MySQL here, I'm going to try this. So MySQL localhost. Yep, localhost. Root, and that's the password. I better copy that. All right, there it is. Okay, we're in the MySQL server. You know, it's interesting that this didn't turn up when I did my GoBuster scan or even my Nmap scan. Okay, well, let's do show databases and see what's here. All right, there's information schema, MySQL, performance schema, and web portal. All right. Well, let's see. I'd like to try them all. Let's do show tables. Oh, I didn't pick a database. Let's see. What am I messing wrong? I'm always messing up my syntax. Let's do this again. I keep messing up my syntax. Show databases. Huh. I keep messing this up. My big problem is that I am so bad with syntax. Use web portal. Show tables. Users, okay. Select from users. Oh, I seem to have found a couple of hashes. And there's Anuroad and there's APAR. So we don't need to worry about APAR right now. So I'm going to copy Anuroad, who is really Auric. I was asking about that before. I'm going to go to CrackStation first. If this doesn't work, I'll go to CyberChef. Oh, sweet. All right. We've got a password. I wonder now if I can log in as Anuroad. SU Anuroad. Ah, well, that sucks. Did I misspell his name? Anurodh. SUANURODH. So that means that that hash is probably his cred for the SQL server. So now I have to look at this hacker.php again. So in images, or rather here, I'd like to download this if possible. Okay. I wonder. I'm just going on a hunch here. Maybe there's something hidden in the picture. Alright, I need to figure out, I need to get this picture on my own local machine. Alright, back in a few. Alright, so I want to take you through the steps of what I had to do to finally get to be root. And so I left the last step for us to discover together. But it took a lot of digging. This one was especially hard for me. But and as you can already see, the IP address has changed. So I had to stop and restart again. Took some thought. Anyway, so taking you back to the part where I was in the var www directory, found a folder called Files. We talked about this before. Found a folder called Images, and within that directory there was an image called hacker with laptop 23 numbers.jpg, a JPEG file. So what I did from here was I needed to copy the image file to my own machine. So I started a Python web server. And in so doing, let me scroll this back up so you can see the methodology. I ran a wget to the target machine, downloaded the image file. Okay, so now it's locally on my own machine. And then I ran steghide information to see what was in here. It asked for a password, which I didn't have, but I hit enter. And it go ahead and showed me that there was a backup file, a zip file called backup that was hidden within the image. So from there, I was able to extract the backup file, and then I used zip2john to extract the information within backup.zip, and I called it backup file. And as you see here was the file that I created. So within backup file, I found this long encoded string. It mentions backup.zip and a file called sourcecode.php. Now, I ignored foolishly sourcecode.php at the onset because I thought that by using John to crack this code, I would get this password. And I thought, okay, I've got Anu Rhodes' password. So I went back to my target, and I tried to use that information, and it didn't get me anywhere. And it didn't get me anywhere. And I kept wondering, okay, what am I doing wrong? So I went back to var www to look for this source_code.php. which I could not find within here. So there was my dilemma again. So I went and unzipped backup.zip. Backup.zip. Why is it so hard to say? I unzipped it, and it produced source_code.php. And when I catted that file, it gave me a base64 encoded string. So I took that and I went to CyberChef, and it produced this password. I went back to my target and I logged in as Anurod using that password. So great, now I'm in as his account. Checking the permissions, I see that there is Docker has permissions here. So I went to GTFO bins and looked up Docker and found that this line of code will produce a root shell. So I went back to the target, typed in the code, and I am going to hopefully prove my point here, because after I typed in that line of code, I will now do who am I, and I see that we are root. Finally. So I'm going to see if I can cd into root now. And there is proof.txt. And I'm going to cat proof.txt. And it says, congratulations, I've completed the challenge. And it says, well done, which is great. So that's it. I think I'm basically in. Here is our root flag. I'm going to go ahead and copy that here. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I think I need to include the whole thing. So let me see if the curly brackets are in there, and they are. Okay. All right, and we have completed this room. So thank you for sticking through with me. This one was indeed a challenge. Even though it's rated as easy, I did not find this easy. It took a lot of digging around to get to this room. So once again, thank you for sticking around with me. And if you enjoyed our time together, please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you all in the next room. Until then, bottoms up and hack the planet.